Hey VC, welcome to my channel. Hey Elvis people, welcome to my channel. I hope there's a lot of you out there tonight because it's Elvis's birthday, January 8, 2025. The king would have been 90 years old. Hard to believe, 90 years old. I've been into the king since I probably was 8 years old, 7 years old. I don't even know. I just remember going to see all those films, all those great movies that he did in the 60s, double features. I would stay there all day. I would go see those movies. In those days, it was 50 cents. You could sit there as long as you want. Usually there were two Elvis movies, or an Elvis movie and a Jerry Lewis movie, or an Elvis movie and a Vincent Price film. It was just a great time. They were all double features. There was never just one movie. I don't remember when Elvis was around. And then we had 68 when he did the singer special, the Christmas special, which is called his comeback special. Then from there we went on to the Vegas years, which were fabulous years. We got some great recordings, and we're still listening to those recordings today. Elvis has gotten so much bigger since he passed away than he was when he was alive. But what I'm here to do is to celebrate his birthday. It's Elvis week in Memphis. You know, I know a lady down there. Hope she's having a good time, and to say hi. Hope you're watching this. I'll send it to you. That's Grace, my friend Grace. So, been to Memphis, been across the street where they have all the museums, been on the Lisa Marie, the plane, been in the graveyard area where I try to steal some seeds from a plant or a flower, and the guards came down on me like a ton of bricks, but that was cool. I made believe I was picking up my camera or whatever, but we're here to celebrate Elvis. I've been an Elvis fan, like I said, since I don't remember. I've been collecting Elvis my whole life. Not just records, movies, tapes, CDs, memorabilia. Got rid of a lot of my memorabilia because you can't collect everything. Now I'm holding on to the Elvis stuff for the grandchildren, who are Elvis fans, by the way. So anyway, I try to break up my record collection into categories: Christmas, gospel, movies, live, Pickwick, concert stuff, best sounding records that I have in my collection. So I'm going to start off. What we're doing is we're doing over 90 for Elvis's birthday. I didn't want to break them down 90 or below 90, so I'm going to do over 90. And a couple of these are different pressings of the same record. So we're doing over 90 to celebrate Elvis's birthday. It's a great time. I've been watching Elvis Week on YouTube. Certain people have been, doing videos on YouTube. So watch out. I want to thank everyone for stopping in. Thank everyone for supporting Tony's LPs Are Us. We got the Elvis light on, so we are recording. Just some memorabilia. Here's a photo I have signed by Priscilla, the great Priscilla Presley. I met her with Lisa Marie, the late Lisa Marie. That's a real shame. She was just beautiful. Had a great voice too. Looked so much like her dad. With Lisa and Elvis as the parents, she was just amazing. She was beautiful, and so are her kids. So I wish them all the best. I hope Graceland continues. I've been to Graceland. Want to go back. I was only there one time. Want to go back someday. But anyway, I'm going to start this off with Christmas and Gospels, the religious albums. The only time Elvis won a Grammy, I believe, I think that was the only Grammy, was for an inspirational record. He loved gospel. Him and Tom Jones used to get back after the shows in Vegas. They would go back to one of their suites and they would do gospel stuff and blues and stuff. So that must have been great. So I'm going to start off. I'm talking too much. I want to keep this video under 40 minutes, maybe under 90 minutes, because Elvis is 90 today. January 8, 2025. Mark that down. Elvis is 90 years old, and rest in peace, Elvis. But we're going to go over this. I'm going to go over my albums, and I'm not going to talk a lot about them. I'll say what pressings they are if I know. A lot of these are early pressings. I'm not really concerned about if they're first pressing or early pressing, or if they're first pressing. I may have a few of those. I know I do. I'm not going to go into that. I'm just happy to have these. All my records are in pretty good shape. I think they're probably VG plus and above. A lot of them I've played a few times. As you can see, there's many Elvis records. So here's we're doing Elvis, and this is a Pickwick Presley, which is the budget version of the RCA's. This is Elvis's Christmas album. This has Mama Like the Roses on it, which I think is the first time that record was on a record was on this record. Here we have another Christmas record. This is Elvis Sings Wonderful World of Christmas. That still has the shrink and a price tag of $3.99. Special price $4.98. So went up, right? And that's with shrink. That's not a Pickwick, that's an RCA. Here we have a first pressing of, I believe it may be Elvis's first Christmas album. That one, which I love this photo. And I have another one of these that I bought from a lady, I think her name was Doris, which I talked about. And she wrote down the date. She said Elvis passed. It was 1977. She wrote down that date. This is first pressing original sleeve, it says 1957 or 64 on here. I'm not sure, but I bought this at a show. And has the original sleeve. I'll just show that for it's showing. And, so we have a long way to go. Only about 90 more to go, right? But I hope you enjoy this. Elvis was cool. Making new fans every day. Thanks to that movie, to Austin Butler. More fans are coming on board. The stuff that comes out from the live concerts is just great. Elvis's voice never wavered. Here's The Wonderful World of Christmas again. This is a different pressing. Back. This is RCA Victor. Here's another one with a different back. As you can see, this one has a third record. So that's why I'm showing these duplicates, because to me they're all special pressings. They're all different pressings. Here's one of my favorites. This still has the calendar that it came with, the rare calendar, 1982 to 1983. One of my favorite Elvis Christmas records. This is original sleeve, original pressing with bonus card, 1982. Believe it or not, I bought this at a show not too long ago, 15 years or so, up in New Jersey. It said $2 on it. I don't know. I bought a lot of Elvis stuff that day. Here's an inspirational. He Walks Beside Me. RCA. I believe these were only in stereo. Here's, I believe, the one he may have won the Grammy for. You could correct me, I'm an Elvis aficionado in a sense. I know so much about Elvis, but I don't know the dates and I don't know particular pressings. But there's a back. Maybe that's the 45. His Hand in Mine by Elvis. Well, look at that great shot. Wow. Here's another Elvis inspirational record, How Great Thou Art. And on here is Crying in the Chapel. Elvis dressed in his Sunday whites. This is stereo, Elvis on RCA. Here's another one, a different pressing, His Hand in Mine, with the ads in the back, or advertisements in the back. Here's another Christmas record, which I love the photo on here. Classic Elvis. This may be this is RCA Camden Mono. So Camden is a budget version of the RCA's, Camden, New Jersey. Camden was where they pressed a lot of RCA records. RCA had a pressing plant. And this says by request, Mama Like the Roses. So that's a different cover. Here we have some more. This is a Pickwick, plus 2 bonus songs on it. Elvis sings from his hit movies. And there's the Pickwick label. Pickwick also has their own inner sleeve, which says Pickwick on it, which I probably I saw one earlier. Elvis, I Got Lucky. And I hope you like this video. I want to stop and take a second to thank my new viewers. I hope you like this video, and my viewers who are subscribers and who just support us through these last couple of years. I'm really appreciative of that. So tell me about your Elvis collection, and I hope that I'm not doing a tag or a challenge, but I hope you Elvis people do this for Elvis Week, which is this week in Memphis. And like I said, Elvis's birthday, 90 years old. Elvis, I Got Lucky. Ads on the back. That's the Colonel. But look at that great shot. If you're a real Elvis person, Elvis aficionado per se, you know what these jumpsuits are called. Each one had a name. I saw them all when I went to Graceland. There's hundreds in this big museum, and they're gold records as tall as the Sistine Chapel. This is Come On Everybody, Elvis. Another Pickwick. Here's the Pickwick inner I was talking about there. These Pickwicks are hit and miss. They sound okay. They're for a budget record, a budget label. And back in the day, we didn't have expensive gear. I didn't have expensive gear, but I always kept a good stylus. My records from 50 years ago sound as good as they did 50 years ago today because I took care of them. And now with the new equipment, the new styluses, the new cables, the new receivers or amps and phono amps, and just everything is better. These records have come to life, especially the early Elvis records. I believe the engineer was Tom Porter. Tony, my friend Tony out there, who I hope is into this, told me about that. And there's some great liner notes. I think it's Tom Porter that he wrote on some of these Elvis albums about the recording techniques of Elvis. Here's a good one. Just a great back here. Separate Ways. Maybe this is the Divorce album. Always on My Mind. I slipped, I stumbled, I fell. It Is So Strange. I Met Her Today. Sentimental Me. Separate Ways. And this is a Pickwick, but it has a catalog on the back. And this was $1.99 at a store called Two Guys, which was a big department store. Here's some more religious, inspirational. This is a rare Reader's Digest Elvis album. Doesn't really happen often. You don't really see Elvis on compilation records like the K-Tells. Although I think I did see a couple Elvis songs early on some of those samplers. But I think the Colonel basically said that was a no-no. But this is Elvis Sings Inspirational Songs. This is How Great Thou Art, Country Gospel, and Crying in the Chapel, Popular Inspirational Favorites. And this still has a shrink on it. Oh, this is still sealed. This is still sealed. This has to go in plastic. Here we have a great movie. I love this movie, Frankie and Johnny, but this is Frankie Loves Johnny. That's another Pickwick record with Elvis on the back. You know, these are all 80 pressings when Elvis was doing, no, not 80, 70 pressings when Elvis was doing had passed, when Elvis was doing all the shows in Vegas. So these are post 68, 69 pressings where Elvis had the jumpsuits on, and which is a great phase of Elvis. He had the 3 phases or 4 phases, you know, early rock, the rockabilly, after the Army, the rock and roll 60s, then the 68 concert, and all the concert videos all the concert movies that he did. I'm also going to look through my DVD collection. I'll probably show my DVDs, my Elvis concerts and movies. Here's a nice one. This is a double Camden, double Dynamite. And of course, like I said, these are all post 68. 69, you could see Elvis has the jumpsuit on. Come On Everybody. I think we showed this one. This is RCA Camden. Here's another one with a great jumpsuit on. Don't know what these are called, but I love them. I love the collars. You'll Never Walk Alone. This is an inspirational Camden. There you have that, Pickwick. Here's one that's still sealed. This was from the Princeton Record Exchange, and it says 99 cents. Somehow I got that. Princeton Record Exchange is a famous record store in New Jersey, in Princeton. Just going to put these down. Now we're going to go to some live records. No, we're going to go to movies and early pressings. We'll go to movies, and then we'll go back to some other odds and ends, things like that. And these are different pressings I'm going to show. Like I said, there's over 90 for Elvis's 90th. Blue Hawaii, probably one of his most popular films because of the songs. Hal Wallace, Blue Hawaii, the Hawaiian Wedding Song, you know. Here's Elvis, Burning Love, hits from his movies. This is an RCA Camden. This has a great back too. It has, including many songs never before recorded by Elvis. Coming in early '73, Elvis's Satellite album. So, really cool. 70s Elvis. Here's one of my favorite movie soundtracks. This is Elvis, Near Mint. I cleaned this on February 26, 2012. I think I still have the receipt here, or something's on here, but this is Elvis, a great movie, documentary with Elvis being narrated, Elvis narrating a lot of it from a Elvis impersonator and some of Elvis's own words, but selections from the original movie soundtrack. But this is just a fantastic, this is a gatefold. And this says two LPs, $5 at that record show I was talking about. I have a few of these. That's a great gatefold. No one like him. There never will be another Elvis. It's just amazing how he's famous all over the world, especially England, Japan, Germany. Obviously, he was in Germany during the service, and I think the only time he was outside the country was in Canada at one time, and of course he traveled to Hawaii, which is the U.S., and we all know the story with the Colonel, and just tragic that he didn't travel the world on a world tour. I never got to see Elvis. One of my regrets. I have a few, but way too few to mention, that type of thing. But I wish I would have seen Elvis. When I had an opportunity to see Elvis, I wasn't into Elvis. And then Elvis died, and I got, you lose something, you appreciate it. Here's another one. This is a compilation, Something for Everybody. This is cool. This has I Slipped, I Stumbled, I Fell. Original soundtrack from Wild in the Country. And another great advertising campaign by the Colonel. GI Blues budget series. I have the original as well. I have one hanging up with a great autograph from Priscilla. It's not on the record, but I framed it with the record. I just love Wood and Heart. I just love Julia Prowse. Another, these movies were great. Wood and Heart, GI Blues, just incredible. Here's The King. Here's another Blue Hawaii, a different RCA stereo, different pressing. Let's see what this looks like. This has an original inner. Don't know if these are first pressings. Like I said, I'm not really concerned about that. I know a lot of my early ones are either first or second pressings. To the Elvis collector, they could tell right away. I used to have notes in them that I could tell what they were. Here's another one. This is a different cover, same movie. You can see that cover there. This says presents 14 great songs, and this just has an original soundtrack album, so you can see the difference on that. Back, is the same with different credits on it. Here's another one. This says Living Stereo, so that's another pressing. This is a Japanese pressing from Big John. Thanks, Big John. I hope you're out there. By the way, this is really quiet. Sounds really cool. And like I said, the Japanese people, the Japanese nation loved Elvis. Some of the greatest impersonators are actually Japanese guys that do Elvis. And man, it's just great. And it's funny when and I know it's not just, I'm talking for me, but when people sing along with Elvis, they sing with Elvis's style. So it's really cool. Here's another one, Budget, Best Buy, Blue Hawaii, different from the others. Here's a nice movie, kind of funny. I believe Elvis played twins on this, Kissing Cousins, original soundtrack, RCA. There's the inner. And this is a gold, the gold Victor. So that's a subsequent pressing. They probably use the same jacket. The jacket's laying around, they'll use the same jacket with a different pressing. If you know this record, you may see that this has a different back to it than the earlier pressings. Here's a great record and a great Elvis look. Girl Happy with Gary Crosby, that was Being Son. Harold Stone, Fabrizio Mindy, bonus song, You'll Be Gone. These were really quick albums. I believe the majority of these albums are probably less than 15 minutes in length on one side. But look at that. Look at that shot. This is near mint, this record. This is a mono pressing. Here we have another great Elvis film, Roustabout, Hal Wallace again. The original soundtrack from the motion picture Roustabout. And Barbara Stanwyck is in this. Joan Freeman, Roustabout, Carnival Time, Carney Time. Elvis was a Roustabout. Here's Roustabout again. It's a different cover, different pressing. You can see there. So when I say 90 records, 90 plus because they're duplicate records. Don't count them. You've probably lost count. Here's another different pressing. Roustabout with the RCA Victor on top there. This is, I believe, my earliest pressing. This is a mono. This has a color inner, and it's probably black RCA. There. See, that's in pretty great condition. His master's voice. I don't know if you know this, but in the original His Master's Voice, you may not know this. I get some stupid trivia I know about. But His Master's Voice, the little dog Nipper is listening to the gramophone. That is actually, in some photos of that or depictions, Nipper is actually on a coffin. And the recording he's listening to is his master, who's deceased, on top in the coffin, and Nipper is on the coffin. So if you look at some of those photos, you'll see he's on a platform, and that platform is actually a coffin. So there you have it. You learned something on Tony's LPs Are Us. Here's another one. I remember buying this at the store. This was that Singer. This was a Singer movie, Sings Flaming Star. And I know I had family who worked for Singer. Great company. They're defunct now, but they actually sponsored the 68 special. Great ads in the back. Flaming Star, Elvis's serious film. Elvis had a chance to do so many serious films. Kind of had a problem with the Colonel okaying these. I think he was supposed to do a Star is Born, maybe with Streisand. And then Chris Christopherson, I believe, took that spot. But just imagine Elvis being in A Star is Born or any of those great films where he could act, because Elvis was a great actor. You may not know, but Elvis had a photographic memory. He would know he would know everyone's lines on the scripts. He wanted to be an actor his whole life. He loved Dean Martin. Actually, the last movie Elvis saw before he passed away, he took Lisa Marie and a few of her friends in his caddy. He drove to, I believe it was the Memphis Cinema, Memphis Movies, and he, after hours, he bought the place, and he saw Roger Moore's 1977 Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. So that's cool for us Bond people who like Bond, that Elvis' last film in the cinema was The Spy Who Loved Me with his daughter. So that's kind of, it's tender and bittersweet. Here's another great movie. This has someone's name on it, Debbie Gallahan. I bought this used, obviously. And this is with Nancy Sinatra singing Your Groovy Self. She actually gets credit, which is very rare. Of course, I'm sure her dad had some pull in that regard. Nancy Sinatra singing Your Groovy Self. She stars in this with Elvis. She's not in any photos. Nancy Sinatra got top billing, though. Very nice billing right on top there. Here's another great movie, Fun in Acapulco. I've seen all these movies when they came out. That's how old I am. 13 great songs. This is a stereo copy. Great painting of Elvis with 2 bonus tracks, not in the film. And, these were the only things we had. When an Elvis movie came out, you either had a program or you had a record, or maybe if you were well off, your father or mother or dad, boyfriend or somebody older had a reel-to-reel. But for us kids, the only thing you could actually get was the single, which were picture sleeves, and then you had the album. And like I said, there were no movies, there were no VCRs or anything like that back then, or tapes or CDs or DVDs. Here is Donna Douglas with Elvis. Donna Douglas, of course, Ellie Mae Clampett, Beverly Hillbillies, one of the most attractive stars of Hollywood ever. And of course, she was with Elvis, Frankie and Johnny, and Elvis. Look at that shot. Harry Morgan, Sue Ann Langdon, and Nancy Kovac is on this record. This was listed at $2.99. Don't know where I picked that up. It happened at the World's Fair. I don't know if we showed this one already, but I think this is an early pressing. This may even be foreign or domestic. Here you see it. You Elvis people out there know. And also Elvis had all these EPs that were, I never got into those. I never found those where I could find them and buy them. But on 45 extended play, which is an EP, these are LPs, long player. Then you had the extended play, which had sometimes a whole album in a double pack where it folded over with 2 records. But here you have all those EPs. And here you can check out your albums. Make sure you have every album, because we really wanted to help Elvis out as much as we could. He had so many. I believe Elvis may have, now maybe not, but I think he was neck and neck with like the Beatles, selling as much as far as albums all over the world. Who knows? A lot of that accounting is all smoke and mirrors anyway. Here's GI Blues. I have that in a sleeve outside to show you guys. This is a mono, LMP mono. Here's another Paradise Hawaiian style, another Hal Wallace. That's he basically worked for Hal Wallace. $1 million a movie with his boys, with his guys, partying. This is nice because it has the songs, it has a depiction of a scenic view, and then a little portrait of Elvis. And it's funny, Elvis was always on the cover by himself. There was never a band member except for the early, I think one of the chess recordings, maybe there was an early one, but Elvis was always by himself. And you're Elvis, right? Even Bruce is always on the Bruce Springsteen doesn't really have the E Street Band on the cover. It's Elvis. I think Born to Run had him and the big man on the cover if you open it, but it's always the man, the king. This has a bonus song called Sandcastles. Don't know it. That's the good thing about Sirius Radio. If you have Sirius Radio, which I have, I get once in a while. I get it sometimes and I don't really subscribe to it, but you hear so many bad Elvis songs that they're good because you don't really hear them often. The ones that you hear all the time, like Hound Dog, and you kind of heard it, but the early cuts from these movies are just great. And I think we're lucky that Elvis was in those crummy movies because there's always 3 or 4 different scenes where he's singing with a band or to the radio or with the guitar. And just for one example is Viva Las Vegas, or the early stuff, Loving You, when he's with his original band. They're playing in the background. Elvis comes out by the pool. Just great stuff. So we wouldn't have had all those Elvis videos. We don't have people in that era singing. Like, Dean Martin really didn't sing in his movies. Frank didn't really sing in his movies except for a few. So we have Elvis was singing at just about every film. So we're kind of lucky in that regard. Here's a Japanese pressing or a Korean pressing. This is Japanese. You can see from the titles. Girls, Girls, Girls. Another Big John gift. I have to give this a listen to. I don't remember what this is like. So to put these on the back burner. Okay, so now we're going to do Elvis in concert records for the most part. These are records in concert. I'm going to go through these quickly. A lot of these are the same, but there's different covers, different pressings. Elvis in person at the International Hotel, obviously, post 68, 69. Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee. Elvis Presley in person, but this is a different cover. This is from Memphis to Vegas. Great record. This is a gatefold. Elvis didn't have many gatefold records. There's the black outfit from the show. Elvis back in Memphis. Elvis in person. Combo, 2 different records. Just amazing. Here's a really good one. This is with the orange label. I cleaned this on August 14th, 2018 near Mint. This is the orange label, which I think is the desirable label for February 1970 on stage. Great portrait of Elvis. Here's a cool one. Otis Blackwell. These are my songs. The songs that Otis Blackwell wrote. Fever, Return to Sender, Hey Little Girl, All Shook Up, Don't Be Cruel, Great Balls of Fire. Otis Blackwell. I hope he made a lot of money. I hope his family is still getting royalty checks, because this guy could write All Shook Up, Blacktail, Daddy Rolling Stone. Wow, don't know that one. Great Balls of Fire, Don't Be Cruel, Hey Little Girl, Breathless, Jerry Lee Lewis. Here's another odd one, but it's the Imperials, which backed up Elvis, as did the Jordanaires. The Imperials, I have some things signed by the Imperials, but this is a cool record. I picked this up. I found this in a collection. I don't think anyone knew who it was, but I knew the Imperials were with Elvis. Here's some early live recordings, never before released. This might be sealed. I believe this is sealed. The first live recordings. I Want to Play House with You. Elvis Presley guitar, Scotty Moore. Are you Scotty Moore or are you Gary Burton? Is it Gary Burton? Yeah, I think it's Gary. Well, are you Burton or are you Scotty Moore? I'm Moore. I'm a Scotty Moore guy, but this is cool. Here's Elvis in concert. It's a double gatefold. It's a great record. Has a famous jumpsuit on. Another famous jumpsuit. Elvis in concert. The Elvis in concert series just go endless, and now there's the Legacy Elvis, which are great recordings. I'm going to show those. I set aside some of my best sounding Elvis records. This starts off with also Spot Zarathustra, theme from A Space Odyssey, 2001. That's great. CC Rider, That's All Right. You know, the only gripe I have, it's not a gripe, but we have no choice, is that a lot of the shows, Elvis unfortunately did the same stuff. You know, he did the same songs in those hour and a half shows or hour and 45-minute shows. Unfortunately, you know, he died, so we didn't get new stuff. But you know, some of my favorite songs from Elvis are the ones he did live, like Trilogy and Never Been to Spain. Just you know, great stuff. Here's of course the famous. This is a quad. I think I have the stereo in here. This is Aloha from Hawaii via satellite. Billions of people watch this film, this recording on TV. There's all the beaming over the world. And this has a inner. You slip it in, and that's the cutout. Two inners are the same. This is an early one, Interviews and Memories, the Sun Years, Sun Records. This is a Sun record, I believe, stereo, probably processed stereo. The great Sun label. Elvis Presley, The Sun Years, Interviews, That's All Right Mama, contains parts from actual recording sessions with the voice of Sam Phillips, the voice of Elvis, plus excerpts of Elvis Presley's Sun recordings, issued and non-issued. That's only 14 minutes long. Side 2 is 16 minutes long, and that contains interviews with some of the guys in some radio shows that Elvis did. But this is a cool thing to have. You don't see this too often. Here's Elvis, the first live recordings. Again, this is opened. The other one was sealed. I'll show you the label. The music works. You can see that. Elvis was such a cool cat. I just loved the way he talked. He was so polite. He was a gentleman. You know, it's a shame that he kind of worked himself to death. You know, and the guys in the band, his crew, his posse, basically his entourage, you know, they yesed him to death, kind of literally, right? And what's funny was he was one of the first guys, probably the first, to have an entourage. You know, Sinatra had the Rat Pack. You know, Louis Armstrong had his group, had his band, but you know, but Elvis didn't. Elvis posse was not his band. He would hang around with his friends. You know, the guys around him. Here's a good one. This is from the soundtrack. That's the Way It Is. A great movie. I love this movie. The MGM personal appearance film, theaters worldwide. So you got to see Elvis on the big screen, and that's him basically start to perfection. This is probably 1970, 1969, I'm sure. You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, Bridge Over Troubled Water, You've Lost That Loving Feeling. I just Can't Help Believing, Patch It Up, it's a great song. Just a great record. Here's a rare one, Elvis Final Edition, exclusive live press conferences, February 61. This is an offbeat label produced by Green Valley Records. And that's a green label. So that makes sense, right? And on the back you have some notes, an essay, and you have a pretty bad drawing of Elvis from probably 57 or 56. Here we have a cool one, which is the Elvis tapes. Has some more recordings that the King, that they did a compilation of. And here's a nice photo with him and Scotty Moore. I think I might have this one autographed. I have a bunch of Scotty Moore autographs that I was really happy to get obviously before he died, right? Also have Burton's autograph. And Keith Richards said, when I heard Heartbreak Hotel, I didn't want to be Elvis, I wanted to be Scotty Moore. So that was cool. And, this is from a 57 Vancouver, British Columbia appearance. And here we have Having Fun on Stage with Elvis. Elvis's talking album, right? Who else would put out an album of just talking? I'm going to try to speed it up. Thanks for bearing with me. Elvis at Madison Square Garden. I missed him at the Garden. I could have went. My friend who passed on, he told me that it was amazing that all you saw in the Garden, if you've ever been to the Garden, it's kind of an oval shape, the stage in the front. All you saw was flash cubes, flashlights from those cameras, and people were using the flash, and it didn't even matter because the flash is only good for a few feet. But he said it was amazing, and I missed that. Like I said, probably could have went, but missed it. Here we have a bootleg kind of from the Comeback Special. Has photos from the TV show. Here's another one. This is Elvis. Open this on parade. This is Elvis. Another pressing. Here's The King Speaks, February '61, Memphis, Tennessee. That may be similar to the other one I showed. This is on the Great Northwest. That was also the Great Northwest, one of them. But here's some really early shots of Elvis that you don't see anymore. Usually you see the Elvis in the jumpsuits now. But these are early Elvis, and here he's with Phillips. The one record I don't have is I have it on CD, is the $1 Million Quartet, when Elvis was in Sun Records, and Johnny Cash stopped by, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee Lewis, and they did, Sam Phillips kept the tape running, which sounds really good. And we have Elvis and Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis. Here's the Aloha from Hawaii via satellite, but this is the stereo version. So I have to do an A/B. I have never done that. I have to do it now that I have this opportunity to do it on for YouTubers. I'm going to try to do that and see what the mixes are like. But this is stereo. I only have one of these in stereo. I have a couple quads. Here's the original soundtrack from the special, the NBC TV special. No one calls it the Comeback Special. That's something that happened later on. This was just a great movie. Great. If you don't have it, there's a DVD box set out. I think it's four DVDs or 3 DVDs, but it has the complete unadulterated show. Everything that was cut, the rehearsals, the 4 or 5 different in the boxing ring sessions. Elvis standing up, Elvis sitting down. Here's a cool one, which is a rare one. This is a double record, but it looks like it has a booklet in there. We'll check it out. Special edition photo album. First time I'm seeing this in years. So you have Elvis with his cape. He's like a peacock with that cape. He's, Liberace kind of had a cape, but he had a cape. And no one could wear this suit but Elvis. And that's what's cool about it, Look at that. So this is called Elvis in Hollywood. This kind of seems like a TV. It's kind of floppy. Maybe it was sold on television. Here's another one, J.D. Sumner and the Stamps. Also backed up Elvis, live in Nashville. So I put this in that collection to show you guys. Here's a nice one. This is a Elvis impersonator. Don't know who this is. The Big E Show, Silverbird Hotel and Casino, The Big E Show, starring Larry Seth, The Big E. So you people out there with the Taking Care of Business Band, TCB, recorded live at Silverbird Hotel, November 1978. So it's soon after Elvis passed away. There were Elvis impersonators around while Elvis was alive as well. But this has the songs that Elvis would do. 2001 intro, CC Rider, Burning Love, Hurt, You Gave Me a Mountain, great song. Early Morning Rain, great song. Jailhouse Rock, Viva Las Vegas, Polk Salad, In the Ghetto, Trilogy, His Way, Can't Help Falling in Love, which I think is My Way, right? But that's the Elvis impersonator. Here's another one from, which is one of my rare ones. This is as premiered on television, the original soundtrack from the motion picture Elvis, starring Kurt Russell, and vocals by Ronnie McDowell. One of the greatest depictions of Elvis was a Kurt Russell, who was in It Happened at the World's Fair as a young lad. As you all know, if you're watching this video, we're almost done, but this is 46 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this in. I'm going to do a part 2. That way it breaks it up, but please look for that. I'll put this, when I publish this, I'll put this one in as a end card or a end screen, so you could do it on, because I don't want you to miss anything. You could tune in and out, and I'll list what the eras are when I put this out for publication. But I have too many more to go. We'd be here another half hour. We're already into, maybe 50 minutes or an hour or so. Of course, Elvis, happy birthday, Elvis. Hope the family is enjoying your birthday, your grandkids, and Priscilla. So thanks a lot for everyone for stopping in. I'm going to do part 2, but we're going to stop this one now, and we'll see you later. So keep rocking, and happy birthday, Elvis. Happy 90th.